Yeah, I think that will be better because it's already 5 minutes.
Yes. So good afternoon to friends in Africa and good evening to friends in India. I would like to especially welcome Dr. Rajendra Kumar, Additional Secretary in the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. Mr. Srikar Reddy, Joint Secretary, Department of Commerce. And we are waiting for the Honorable Minister. All my fellow speakers and distinguished participants present here. India, as you know, is a very important player in the software and IT services business. Last year, we did about $143 billion of software and IT services export. And this year, we have a financial year from April to March. We are seeing still a growth despite COVID. There is likely to be some growth. So this is one of the industries which has grown like pharma despite COVID, and we are looking forward to a much higher growth. The World Bank has predicted a double-digit growth for India in the coming year. We are the only country in the world which will have a double-digit growth. Most of you would know about Indian IT industry, but I would still like to share some information with you. We used to be mainly outsourcing country for US and for UK and the developed countries. But during the last decade or so, thanks to initiatives by MIT, various state IT departments, a lot of IT is being used within the country. And the use of IT within the country has really grown. We are predicted to have a digital economy of more than $1 trillion by 2025. There's a McKinsey study which our Ministry for Electronics and IT had commissioned, and they have predicted that by 2025 we will have a digital economy which will cross $1 trillion. So here is we used to be a very export-led industry, but now we have a large domestic IT industry. And we are also now the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. Recently, when the inaugural function of IndiaSoft took place, our Secretary for Ministry for Electronics and IT shared with us that during COVID times, a very important app was developed, which all of us are using in India, called Arogya Setu. And Arogya Setu actually tells you about social distancing, how to avoid containment zones, and now even how to get the shot, which is the nearest place for you, how to register for it. And this app was developed by 15 young professionals working from homes during the lockdown period. And in a period of few weeks, they developed this app. So this is how the ecosystem for startups have developed. We always have large number of delegates coming from Africa to the IndiaSoft show in the earlier years. And we also had the privilege of hosting several ministers from various African countries. But unfortunately, our software export is very much skewed in favor of US. It is very US centric. About 70% of our software and IT services are exported to North America. 17% go to UK, and the share of Africa is much lower. We would like to see more business with Africa, and that is why we have conferences like this, where we want to understand what your needs are and how our companies can actually work with you to develop greater understanding and greater business in IT software and IT services. Many of the needs are actually common with what we have in India, because India also has a large content of what can be called as a developing economy in many parts of India. And many of the applications which have been developed for the Indian requirement can be easily customized for use in Africa. In fact, after one of the IndiaSoft shows a couple of years ago, we requested our Commerce Secretary to have a meeting with all High Commissioners and Ambassadors of African countries, just to understand what exactly is required. And it was a very revealing meeting, because we understood that you need telemedicine, you need e-governance, you need applications in education and health, all of which we require in India too, and they are actually working very successfully. So almost you can really plug in those solutions with very little change. And we are looking forward to much greater relationship with Africa. And may I now request Dr. Rajendra Kumar. Dr. Rajendra Kumar is our keynote speaker today. Dr. Kumar is an IAS officer from the Tamil Nadu cadre. He's currently the Additional Secretary in the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, looking after very important and very relevant areas in the ministry, like Digital India, e-governance, data protection, cyber security, all the things that we are actually interested in the IndiaSoft event. Dr. Kumar was the Principal Secretary for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises in Tamil Nadu before he took over as the Additional Secretary in our Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. He has a very good first-hand feel of small and medium enterprises. And this show actually has been started for the small and medium enterprises, because the large enterprises, they actually don't need any support from governments. They can do things on their own. And it is the small and medium enterprises both in India and Africa which need to work together and need to develop business models which are win-win for both. So may I now request Dr. Rajendra Kumar to kindly address us.
Thank you, Mr. Kohli, and very good evening to all the colleagues from India, and good afternoon, good morning to all the other colleagues from other parts of the world. Honourable Minister from Africa and all the invitees to this event. It's my pleasure to be present here today and be able to speak to you on this very relevant topic of IT cooperation with Africa. As was mentioned by Mr. Kohli, we are all aware of India's strengths in the IT sector. So far, till a decade back, it was mostly in IT services. But in the past decade or so, the capabilities in the Indian IT domain have now increased in terms of the complexity of the services being delivered. Also, Indian companies are now present in the IT products space as well. And we are also now doing a lot of work in the latest emerging technologies, which is the key area of growth for the future. So let me begin by mentioning what METI is doing to really increase the growth of the IT sector in India, and how we can really expand the scope of cooperation with the African countries. As we are all aware, so far the level of cooperation with the African countries has not really been up to the level that we have seen with the other regions of the world. So there is a huge scope for expansion there. And with many countries developing at a rapid pace in the African continent, their scope is only going to increase in future. So in terms of the support to the IT sector, METI has been doing a lot of work in the last 2 to 3 decades. And most recently, we have focused on the emerging technologies as a key driver for growth and sustainability in future for this sector. Some of you may be aware, Government of India has announced a national program on artificial intelligence, which is being implemented by MeitY, the Ministry of Electronics and IT. And this is going to be the flagship program, which would bring the latest cutting edge capabilities to the Indian IT ecosystem, including the advanced academic and R&D institutes and the industry, and of course the government departments. In other domains as well, we have programs which are currently now being implemented to bring the startups and innovators onto a common platform where we can support innovation, and with the help of the startups and the small businesses, we can bring those innovations to the industry for implementation. So currently we are running over 20 centers of excellence across the entire country in partnership with industry, where the goal is to really do advanced R&D in fields like AI, blockchain, augmented reality, 5G, IoT, etc. And these efforts at cutting edge R&D, we would really wish to implement in with the help of industry in actual real world. So that's the goal. And I'm happy to tell you that this Center of Excellence have achieved a tremendous growth and success in the last 2 years with concerted efforts by MeitY and also by the industry. Also, the vision of the $5 trillion economy that the country has set for the country as a whole in the next 5 years, and the role of digital economy in really achieving that goal. That's another major area where MeitY has set for itself the vision to take the digital economy in India from the current level of about $200 billion to the level of at least $1 trillion by 2025. That involves a huge transformation in almost all sectors of the economy and all domains of governance. So that's the larger vision that we have set for MeitY in terms of what we would like to achieve in the next 5 years. And already we are doing a lot of work in collaboration with various government departments and the industry to realize that vision. We are working on enhancing the collaborations, the programs under the overall umbrella of the Digital India program that was launched in 2015, more than 5 years ago. That program needs to be enhanced to really bring more effective partnerships to achieve the vision that we have set of $1 trillion digital economy in the next 5 years. Let me also briefly mention a few specific areas where we think collaboration and cooperation with the African countries can really be very effective. As some of you may be aware, we have developed a full stack in several technology domains. For example, we have the world's largest and perhaps the most successful digital identity platform, which is now being used all across the country in almost all domains, which has really made the entire process of identity verification completely seamless, real-time, and fully online. And that has saved a tremendous amount of effort and cost for the government departments to really ensure that the benefits of various schemes reach only the intended beneficiaries, and duplication, etc., can be totally avoided. So this is one major area where a lot of work has been done, and we can offer our expertise and the experience to the countries who are desirous of using such a technology stack. We also have a very vibrant and successful digital payment ecosystem, which again is a major area where we have achieved a tremendous success in the last 4 to 5 years. The share of digital payments in India has gone up very significantly, and COVID pandemic has helped to accelerate the adoption of digital payments even faster. And we think that in the time to come, this would become the new normal, where the adoption of digital would become even more mainstream, and more people in India, more and more ecosystem partners would become fully digital in terms of offering their services and in terms of accessing those services by the citizens and businesses. So this is the new developments that we are witnessing now in the Indian economy, and we think that we can really share the experiences that we have gained in this massive push towards digitalization in all sectors to all the countries who may be desirous of learning from our experience. Of course, in the traditional areas of IT services, we are there to really offer our experience and collaborate with the countries in Africa. And from the government side, I can assure that for METI, we are willing to do all that we can to really further this cooperation with the countries in Africa. For any kind of cooperation or any requirement that countries in that continent may have in mind, we are there to really offer our support and expertise. We are working with all state governments as well in different technology domains, where we have implemented very large national level programs and platforms to really ensure that we can reach all citizens through our digital delivery and through our online mode of services. I would like to convey my best wishes to all the participants in this event, and also my appreciation for all the efforts being taken by EAC and other METI organizations in furthering this cooperation with the countries in Africa. So thank you very much for inviting me here, and I really wish all the best to all the participants. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kumar, for those very important message that you have given to our partners in Africa. And I'm sure we will all work together to increase our exports to African nations, and also to help them in developing and implementing new applications in IT, which can make them more efficient, more productive, and reduce the gap between the developed and the developing countries. Thank you very much for your address. I have great pleasure now in inviting Dr. VSDL Surendra. He's our Deputy High Commissioner in Nigeria. And I think we really close the loop, because, you know, many times we don't know enough about the African country, and I think only by working together. And he's right there to help us how to bridge this gap. And may I now request Dr. Surendra to please share his views.
Namaskar. Thank you, sir. Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Government of Nigeria. Dr. Rajendra Kumar, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. Dr. Srikar K. Reddy, Joint Secretary, Africa, Department of Commerce, Government of India. Mr. Nalin Kohli, Chairman, India Soft, and past Chairman, ESC. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to you all to this session on IT cooperation with Africa. This comes at a most opportune time. I was just picking up from the Additional Secretary Sir's speech that India has a vision of having the digital economy transform India into a 5 trillion economy. And I'm happy to say that Nigeria has a shared vision with India. Nigeria is also looking to wean itself away from reliance on oil and gas, and to look to its digital economy for transforming its economy to something similar to that of India. And I would say that this collaboration has been flowering recently, and I'm happy to announce that ESC had an MOU just last year with the Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, the ECOWAS, and the League of Aquabomb Professionals, LACPRO Nigeria, to facilitate joint ventures between Indian and Nigerian SME partners. So I think this event will also help to strengthen the ties which were sown earlier. And coming to Nigeria, I would say that Nigeria is truly a land of opportunity. It's a large economy of $450 billion with a population of nearly 200 million. Many of them young people, very talented, and above all, they are an English-speaking country, which puts us in the same league as India. And the commercial capital, Lagos, is reputed to be gifted with many talented startups. And there have been certain startups even in the financial sector which have, I think, got Pan-African recognition. So that is one area to look at. And yes, the IT and ICT sector have a lot of opportunity in Nigeria. And today, the ICT sector is known to contribute 9% to the African, to the Nigerian GDP. And there is tremendous interest in the Nigerian side on the various e-initiatives of the government of India. Like we were hearing, this Arogya Setu app, the contact tracing app, which has been a big hit in India recently, is also of great interest in Nigeria. And there is also interest on India's other national identity scheme, the Aadhaar scheme, and also on other e-initiatives and for various public services like driver's licenses, etc. They are trying to tailor them according to the Indian model of e-governance. And that is definitely a huge area of opportunity. And I'm happy to inform you that there are ongoing talks between NIC and Lagos University on a tie-up, for sharing of best practices on e-governance. So definitely there is a lot of opportunity in Nigeria. And we recently had an event by of NASCOM. And we had representation from various government authorities in Nigeria. And one small word of caution, if I may say, was that the Nigerian authorities expect that Indian companies have their maintenance partners in Nigeria, and because they want to look at a win-win situation. So that has to be factored in while wanting to enter the Nigerian market. And we would like to especially thank the minister because he has been a strong supporter of Indo-Nigerian cooperation in the IT and ICT sector. He was also he had also graced the RAISE 2020 event recently, and I'm sure with his support and with the strong initiative of the ESC and our Ministry of IT and Ministry of Commerce, we will help to bring this cooperation to raise this cooperation to a higher level. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Surendra, for useful inputs from Nigeria, and we certainly would like to build on that. I would just like to share that these 150 companies who are actually participating in the exhibition, in the digital exhibition, they can all be reached by our African friends at any time. The exhibition is on from 9th to 31st of March. And they represent all kinds of technologies, all kinds of applications. Many of them would be relevant for Africa. And it's a good opportunity to find an Indian partner there. Because the small and mid-sized companies would need a partner in Africa if they have to do business. And not only, as you mentioned, say government requirement there that they need a local representative, but it's a business requirement for a small and mid-sized company who would need a partner to actually implement solutions in Africa. So may I now, I'm told the Honorable Minister is still delayed and he should be joining us. I would now take the opportunity in inviting Dr. Srikar K. Reddy. He's the Joint Secretary in Department of Commerce in Government of India. He looks after Africa, Ghana, And he has actually handled the East and South Africa desk in the ministry before he came to the Department of Commerce. So very, very well versed on the African market. And he has been our Consul General in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, and he's also served in our permanent mission in WTO in Geneva. So may I request Dr. Reddy to kindly share his thoughts.
Thank you, Dr. Nalinji. Dr. Rajendra Kumar, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. And VSD Surendra, Deputy High Commissioner, HC High Commissioner of India in Nigeria. Distinguished fellow panelists, delegates and friends. My warm greetings to all of you, especially to our friends from Africa who have joined today's session. I feel privileged to be part of this special session on IndiaSoft 2021 on IT cooperation with Africa. Sincere compliments to ESC for choosing Africa as one of the focus regions for current edition of IndiaSoft that has emerged as a leading IT show globally. I sincerely wish that this year's digital edition will be as useful for delegates as the previous editions have been. And as you're aware, India and Africa are connected by ancient maritime links and common struggle against colonialism and apartheid. This historical association over the years has blossomed into multifaceted partnership between India and Africa with a special emphasis on economic cooperation and human resource development. Our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made Africa a top priority for India's foreign and economic policy, and there has been a qualitative shift in our long-standing ties. To enhance the diplomatic engagement, Government of India has decided to open 18 new missions in Africa, out of which 9 are already operational, taking the total number of Indian embassies and high commissions in Africa to 47 out of 54 countries in Africa. I would also like to take this opportunity to inform about the new development which has happened only a few weeks back. India and Mauritius have signed the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation and Partnership Agreement on 22nd February in Mauritius. This is a trade agreement which India is signing with any African country. This is the first African country with which we have signed this trade agreement, which will enter into force from 1st of April 2021. So with regarding to trade in the goods sector, India offered concessions on 615 tariff lines, while Mauritius has offered concessions on 310 tariff lines. Trade in services, both sides have agreed to provide market access in over 100 subsectors from the 11 broad service sectors, including computer-related services and telecommunications. Friends, as you're aware, trading has also commenced from 1st January of this year among the members of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which is the largest FTA in terms of the members. This African Continental FTA, with a single market with a population of 1.2 billion and a combined GDP of over $1 trillion, is likely to raise the intra-Africa trade by 81% by 2035 and lift 30 million Africans out of poverty. So this agreement is a more significant development towards the realization of Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. Moreover, the possibility of achieving economies of scale through this integrated market will attract investment, boost Africa's industrial development, expand Africa's exports in value-added goods and services, generate employment and increase prosperity. As you are aware, India is also one of the largest investors in Africa with cumulative investment of over $54 billion. Sizable investments of India are in sectors such as oil and gas, mining, banking, textiles, and other sectors including ICT. Unlike other countries, Indian investments create a lot of local employment. And I'm sure that this African Continental FTA will provide significant opportunities for growth in bilateral trade in goods and services and investment in various sectors, including information and communication technology. I would like to just refer to the address of our Prime Minister to the Parliament of Uganda in July 2018, where Prime Minister Modi enunciated the 10 guiding principles of Indian engagement with Africa, One of the key principles is that of cooperation in the digital field, which is sharing of India's experience with digital revolution to support Africa's development, improves delivery of public services, extend education and health, spread digital literacy, expand financial inclusion, and mainstream the marginalized. Like the strengths of our ICT industry have already been explained in detail by Dr. Rajendra Kumar, and also my friend from the High Commission in Nigeria is also explained about the cooperation, especially with regarding to e-governance and Aadhaar, etc. I'd also like to mention that, like in the health and education sector, already Government of India is doing a project called E-Vidya Bharati and E-Arogya Bharati, which aims to provide tele-education and telemedicine, thereby putting India's knowledge and technical expertise at the service of the African countries. So friends, given the similarities between Indian economy and many of those in Africa, Indian IT companies are most suited to provide solutions that African economies seek. I'm hopeful that this special session will help ignite renewed interest among African and Indian enterprises to examine prospects for new opportunities for cooperation. I would also like to mention that Government of India provides substantial funds for doing projects in Africa through lines of credits. And Government of India also provides these lines of credits for digital technologies. I'm happy to share that through the lines of credit, Government of India has established IT centers of excellence. For example, the IT center in Ghana, the Kofi Annan Center of Excellence, and Seychelles are few examples where India has set up IT centers of excellence. I would like to urge Indian entrepreneurs also to take advantage of the Indian assistance programs to also cooperate in the area of digital technologies. Before I end, I would like to tell our friends from Africa that joining hands with Indian entrepreneurs will be a winning proposition for you. India today offers also a very conducive environment for doing business, as you have seen from the improvement in India's ease of doing business rankings from 130 in 2016 to 63 in 2019. Our innovative engineers and programmers are geared to offer software services solutions that are second to none. More importantly, the price at which Indian services is offered are very affordable and economical. And to our Indian entrepreneurs, my advice would be to keep in mind that Africa is a diverse continent with wide variations in socio-economic setup across nations. Be mindful, and you also take the support of all the Indian embassies and high commissions and consulates in Africa to have good cooperation with your counterparts in Africa. So I conclude by extending my best wishes to all the delegates and exhibitors. I hope that you'll have a good mutually beneficial relationship during this meeting, and also you'll continue thereafter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Reddy, for your address. And I would now like to move on to Dr. Enobong Omosen. Dr. Enobong Omosen is the head of private sector promotion for ECOWAS Commission. He has over 30 years professional experience both in private and public sector of Nigeria, including national planning, international trade, cooperation, insurance, export development and marketing, SMEs and entrepreneurship. He has been involved in different levels of work with UNCTAD, the International Trade Center, African Union and the World Bank. He holds a master's degree. He's got a doctorate in management with specialization in entrepreneurship and a MBA degree in development studies. So may I request Dr. Enobong Omosen to please share his views with us. Is he there? He was there in the beginning. I think he's can't see him now. So may I now then move on to Ms. Sheila Sudhakaran.
Sir,
I can.
Dr. Ikubok is there, sir. I'm sorry.
Sir,
He's
he's here.
there
He's
he
there.
is.
He's there.
Yeah. So can I request you, Dr. Inabang, to kindly share your views with us? We can't hear you. You are on mute. Please unmute yourself. In the meantime, while I think looks like some technical glitch is facing, can I request Ms. Sheila Sudhakaran in the meantime to share her views?
Yeah. Sure,
Then
sir.
we can have Dr. Anupong later.
Okay.
Ms. Sheila Sudhakaran has more than 30 years of experience serving industry and commerce. She is editor of 2 digital platforms, a fortnightly newsletter on Africa titled Africa for You and Trends of Africa. She has been she has served in FICCI, India's premier chamber of commerce, and is very well versed with the African market.
Very much.
Can I request?
Thank you very much
Yeah.
for this great
Dr.
meeting.
Anupong is there.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you
please
hear
go
me?
ahead. Dr. Anupong, yes, we were waiting for you.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. We can.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
We can hear you.
Yeah, please go ahead. We lost you again. Can you log out and log in again? In the meantime, I would request Ms. Sheila to please share her views. Ms. Sheila, can you just go ahead?
Yeah. I need my presentation to be uploaded. I hope ESC is getting my presentation uploaded because I have a presentation to make, a PPT. Gurmeet has.
Gurmeet, are you there? Can you upload her presentation?
Yeah,
they're doing.
Okay.
They're doing.
yes. Yeah, it's there.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Thank you, Mr. Kohli. A warm greeting from Trends in Africa and Africa for You to the distinguished speakers and the honorable guests. It's a pleasure for me to be part of this signature event of ESC, the India Soft. Well, potential for India-Africa cooperation has always been a discussion point in many of the Africa conferences. But now it is a time to visit a new, hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. But now,
Dr. Anupong, we will have you right after this. Yeah, please go ahead.
yeah, I am on the first slide, please. Good. Please don't change the slide now. Well, the next slide. The potential for India-Africa cooperation has always been a discussion point in various Africa conferences. But now this is the time to look at it freshly because of various new developments happening in the continent in terms of policy, reforms, approach, and so on. So my effort is to highlight some specific areas in this light for the benefit of the Indian industry. Now, leaders across the continent are convinced of the urgent need for a digital revolution to uplift the continent socially and economically. This can be achieved only by the social and economic development of Africa can only be achieved through creating jobs, eradicating poverty, reducing inequality, delivering goods and services efficiently. Of course, apart from the digital platforms, apart from the conventional technology, Africa needs sophisticated technology like AI, drones, Internet of Things, big data, software-enabled industrial platforms, and so on. Next slide, please. To cater to the demand of Africa, AU, in collaboration with many of the multilateral bodies like World Bank, UNES, African Development Bank, etc., have developed a blueprint of the digital transformation policy. Now, when you look at the nuts and bolts of this digital transformation of Africa, we can see the creation of a digital single market by 2030 is the most important step. Africa has to empower its people by 2030 to really achieve its goals. And to the other key points, the other pillars of this are digital trade, digital legal identity, innovative financing models, e-healthcare, e-education, building capacities in manufacturing, agriculture, and improving skills. Next, please. The sweeping changes across Africa, when you see these sweeping changes in the policy and the reforms, what is there in store for India? That is the question. Well, this digital transformation is also bringing about an intra-Africa trade, boost intra-investment and capital flows, promote socio-economic integration of the continent, closing the digital infrastructure gap, accelerating digital transformation for national, regional, and continental development. Next, please. Next slide, please. So here is the opportunity for, before that, here is the opportunity for India. Well, in its efforts to bridge the digital gap, there is an urgent need for Africa to build a collective digital capacity at individual, organizational, sectoral, regional, and continental level also. So, where can Indian industry support Africa? These can include technical and vocational training, coding, programming, analysis, security, machine learning, AI, robotics, engineering, innovative entrepreneurship, technology, policy, and regulation, etc. Next, please. Another important development in Africa, when you look at it, is the AFTA, which has already been mentioned by our Honorable Government, the Deputy High Commissioner, and the Joint Secretary, and the Additional Secretary also. AFTA has huge implications on Africa and the way it is going to conduct business. One of the most historic milestone which has been achieved by the continent on 1st January to this year is they have commenced the Continental Common Market. And what is the result? The result is a market of 1.2 billion consumers, integrating Africa to a single digital market, opening a floodgate of opportunities. Next, please. On top of these milestone are, all these requirements is the digital trade. This is crucial to unlock the key opportunities and to support Africa to a digital continent. Digital trade is not only crucial, and this is an area where India can also extend its hand to support Africa. It can support Africa to globalize its economy, to open up its economy through digital technologies, organize production, logistics, delivery, facilitate setting up of business BPOs, assist industries in the use of ICT to automate and modernize their business processes, promote development and production of software and hardware, support the continent to establish technological parks and incubators, e-commerce channels, and also setting up trade facilitation and trade portals. Here, one should acknowledge that some of the successful Indian companies, Indian IT leaders are already established their footprints there, like Tata Consultancy, Tech Mahindra, Wipro, Infosys, etc. But the issue is there is a lot of room for SME sector in this SME companies in this sector. They have a lot of opportunities which they should tap. Next please. The next important pillar to this digital transformation is digital financial services. Well, it is when it comes to fintech, financial technologies, the fintech revolution of Africa is a fascinating success story. Particularly when you look back, one remembers the M-Pesa and its role in popularizing the mobile payment process since 2007. Mobile payment has become an integral part of Africa's financial landscape. But the launch of AfTA, the relevance of fintech for intra-African trade has gone up in multiple ways, which offers a lot of opportunities for Indian companies. Indian companies can offer services in sectors like like facilitating the digital channels, including payments and clearing system, credit savings, digitalize the government transactions through central banks, basically the setting up the net banking and all. And there are also opportunities for evolving efficient cross-border systems for payment, because once AfTA is in place, the cross-border transactions will go up and there will be need for digital tools. Next, please. Governance and government performance can improve only through technology adoption. Africa is also implementing e-governance services, as already mentioned by, even in Nigeria, as already mentioned by the Deputy High Commissioner. Then Africa is also integrating the public e-services through common standards and open standard software. It is also proposing to have a digital legal identity as part of civil registration process. Already mentioned by Dr. Reddy, this is one area where India can really help immensely. As we all know, India, as a vast country with diverse languages, multiple political leadership, it was a smooth implementation of Aadhaar, and this Africa can really learn a lot from this process. Next, please. Education is fundamental to the progress of any country, and the EU Continental Education Strategy targets at improving ICT capacity and use of ICT platforms in improving the access, the quality of the education sector, and also reach out to international education and research networks and strengthen management of that sector. In fact, Africa e-learning market is a huge market, and it has been valued at around $905 million in 2020. The industry is also expected to grow at a CAGR of 14.5% in the next 5 years to reach a value of about $2073 million by 2026. Why I pointed out this figure is to point out the huge opportunity for Indian online education companies. There are also factors which support why there will be a growth in this sector. For example, the rising incomes, increasing population, better government initiatives, strong internet penetration, growing cheap availability of smartphones. These are favorable factors that will fuel the growth of this industry. To add to that, the Facebook has recently announced a new plan to build a 23,000-mile-long cable around Africa, which will certainly facilitate a healthy internet ecosystem. This is a huge opportunity for Indian companies. In fact, next please. In fact, we already have a reasonably good presence in the e-education sector, thankfully to the initiative of TCIL, a government of India a government of India undertaking. India has provided tie-ups for tele-education, making available the facilities and expertise of some of the best universities of India to Africa. However, with the onset of COVID-19, the demand for e-education, because teaching, learning, everything has gone virtual and online, so the demand has gone up immensely. Here is an opportunity for Indian edutech companies to expand to Africa and support the delivery of education in Africa. In fact, there are quite a few private edutech companies who have shown interest. Even they have the capacity to customize the local content and deliver online courses, including even high-end professional courses like medical, dental, etc. Next, please. Next slide, please. Well, physical health and fiscal health of a nation are closely interwoven. The core vision of the Africa Health Strategy is to provide higher quality, better patient care, and improve the access. Reaching out to rural and remote areas also, and giving health workers access to tools to deliver their services promptly. Again, in this area also, telemedicine under the telemedicine component of TCIL has established, given good service, a good tradition in this sector. They have set up about between 12 to 15 Indian super specialty hospitals have been linked up for patient end locations. Over and above, there is good scope and collaboration to tap the full potential of digital health, that is, improve the healthcare delivery supported by digital health solutions, assess the existing healthcare delivery regulations within member states, upgrade these delivery systems, and adapt them as needed to enable the delivery of new healthcare services. Next, please. Agriculture. Agriculture is, of course, the backbone of Africa, and it is an essential driver of economic development in Africa. And the continent is keen to harness opportunities in agriculture through digital solutions, from precision farming to supply chain. India has a rich experience in IT applications in agriculture sector to support farmers and give fundamental support to give them warnings about shifting weather patterns, then give information about soil, farm inputs, big data to identify best seeds, etc. So here also Indian companies can step in to support. Next, please. Globally, there is an emphasis on smart cities with the growing urbanization, and Africa is also not far behind. Many African countries have adopted this policy of this concept of smart cities. Particularly countries like Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, Rwanda, South Africa are far ahead in setting up this process. Smart cities have a vital role in tackling urban problems and improve quality of urban life. One important point is more than 60% of the expenditure is on ICT services, where Indian companies have an edge. Next, please. To summarize, when we look at the potential, why are we saying that? Why are we advocating that one should look at seriously the opportunities in the IT sector in Africa? There are major couple of points. The Facebook and Alcatel consortium to strengthen digital connectivity. That means the infrastructure is getting strengthened. The foundation stone is being laid. Next is AFTA, Thus, after harmonization of trade tariff classification to put in place to facilitate intra-Africa trade, then cross-border services of movement of services, people, products, etc. There is a huge demand for IT applications here also. Then integration of various trade, regional trade blocks to enhance digital activities. Africa understands that instead of getting fragmented under various trade blocks, it's time to come together under one umbrella for the common agenda of growth. So this also generates a lot of IT applications and IT need. Then, as already mentioned, African Union by 2063. Well, this is the Pan-Africa Master Plan to drive progress, to drive unity, progress, to achieve collective prosperity. This also generates a lot of IT needs. Next, please. Well, at this phase, we also need to look at the entry strategy of the Indian companies. As already mentioned by one of the distinguished speakers here, there is a need to be careful. Like any other country, foreign investment is welcome. Africa welcomes foreign investment, foreign collaboration with open arms. But we, like any other country, they also put focus on local value addition, job creation, knowledge transfer, skill development. So Indian companies looking at the African opportunities should factor these features into their business plan. Investment with a local partner is the way forward. Then, as also mentioned earlier, companies should also explore the possibilities under the lines of credit offered by the Government of India. On our part, Trends in Africa and Africa for You give due publicity through our B2B platform about the opportunities in the IT sector. So we will be happy to support the Indian companies in future also through these platforms. Thank you so much.
Thank you for a very informative presentation. And I hope you will be able to share copies of that with DSC so that those who are interested, we can pass it on to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. This is already with ESC, so
good. So fine. So anybody who needs a copy of the presentation, may please send a mail to ESC Secretariat. I would now request, we are running late. I would now request Dr. Enobong. I hope his audio is now working. Dr. Enobong, are you there? We can hear you. Yes, I can't see you, but I can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Yeah, yeah. I think you have a bandwidth. Okay. Please continue with audio. Yeah, please continue.
Good. Yes, that's why we need India. That's why we need India to come. Thank you so much. Thank you. The Honorable Minister for Communications and Digital Economy of Nigeria, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Patami, the Deputy High Commissioner, Dr. Surendra, the Additional Secretary, Ministry of Electronics, Dr. Rajendra Kumar, the Joint Secretary, Dr. Sikra Reddy. Good afternoon. On behalf of the President of the ECOWAS Commission, His Excellency Jane Cloud Blue, I am happy to be here and I welcome all of us to this very important meeting. Let me salute the ESC and her associates for putting in place this very important business meeting. And note that India and Africa have been partnering for quite a while, since the days of the South-South Cooperation, the days of pre-independence days up till today. Indeed, West Africa can boast of many Indian companies and investments in all sectors that are playing out in West Africa, from agriculture to IT to energy to all these sectors. Globally, the investment of India in West Africa, in Africa, has been growing over the years. 6.7 billion in 2005, growing to 25 billion in 2015. And exports from Africa also to India has also been growing from 4.4 billion in 2005 to 27 billion in 2015. And the investment stock from 11.9 billion in 2010 to 15 billion in 2014, and from Africa to India from 57 billion to 73 billion. So the relationship between Africa and India has been on an upward scale. In the sector of ICT, ICT has improved, has proved to be an important driver, an enabler of competitiveness, growth, and developments for several decades now. And with COVID-19, the contraction in physical communications, the use of ICT has surged exceptionally. Online work, education, Medicaid, webinars have all gone online. And this has created pressure on the use of ICT over the years. This surge has threatened to deepen the differences in access and exclusion that had existed before the pandemic. Can you still hear me? Can you still
Yes,
hear me?
we can hear you. We can hear you. But I would just request you to, yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, Dr.
Can you hear
Anubang,
me?
we can hear you.
We can hear you, you know.
Hello?
Hello,
I think
we can hear
cannot
you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello?
I think he has some issue.
Hello?
I would
Hello?
suggest there is some technical problem on your end, Dr. Anubang. We can hear you, but
Hello?
you cannot hear us.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you. Oh, good, good. So I was saying that the surge in, okay, good. The surge in digital work, the surge in ICT, the surge in teleeducation, telework, telemedical care, telewebinars, and all of these has threatened to deepen the
I think there are some technical issues with Dr. Anubang. So what I just got a message from the Honorable Minister. He's not able to join, but he's asked his deputy to speak on his behalf. So is Mr. Olufemi Adelui is with us? Mr. Olufemi Adelui?
I am.
Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, good. So can I request, because I think we have some technical issue with the current speaker. I would request you to kindly take over. I believe you have a message from the Honorable Minister. We were waiting for him. So we would request you to please give your address.
All right. So good evening. Most people are in the evening session, so good evening, and good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're joining from. I bring you warm greetings from my boss, Minister of Communications and Digital Economy. Obviously, you realize that he wanted to join, but today is Federal Executive Council meeting. So he had asked me to inform the organizers that they would still like to join to see if the meeting ends in time, but unfortunately it didn't. So he doesn't want to keep you waiting. That's why he asked that I join and just share some greetings and convey his message to the meeting. India's office dear to my boss's heart. In fact, I think it was in 2017 that he attended the events in Bangalore. Incidentally, I went there with him when he was the DG of NIDA. And we have a high regard for what India is doing in the digital economy space. We are also trying to emulate and develop our digital economy. When the minister took over in August 2019, the ministry was called the Ministry of Communications. But he sent a letter to the President, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, and requested that the name be changed to Communications and Digital Economy in order to help us to focus on the mandate of digital economy, because that is actually the direction that the world is going. And the President graciously agreed to do that. Following that, a national digital economy policy and strategy was developed and launched by Mr. President in November 2019. That policy talks about all the areas that we would like to address in developing our digital economy in Nigeria. And as part of our discussions that we're having today, we would love the Indian digital economy sector to collaborate with us in the implementation of this policy in the different, for the different pillars. The pillars are 8, like I said, and the first one is developmental regulation. The second one is digital literacy and skills. When I was listening to the discussion that I heard of the center we built in Ghana, I believe that we can do something similar in Nigeria. So digital literacy and skills. The third one is solid infrastructure, which talks about the broadband connectivity. Fourth one is service infrastructure. Fifth one is digital services development and promotion, where we talk about building the entrepreneurial capacity of the people in the digital economy sector. The sixth one is soft infrastructure. We believe that it's important to ensure that when people connect to broadband, when they use ICT, when they interface with the digital economy, they feel safe. They're aware that their data is secure, it's not going to be compromised. And that's what is addressed in pillar number 6. Pillar number 7 talks about digital society and emerging technologies. The whole idea is this: we don't want IT or the digital economy to be developed just for itself. We want a situation where it affects the world economy. And I'm happy to announce that, you know, in the recently released GDP report by the National Bureau for Statistics, we found out that the ICT sector was the fastest growing sector in the 4th quarter. In fact, when you add the other sectors that's after the ICT sector, like the agri, the construction and so on, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th fastest growing sectors, when you add all of them together, it still doesn't amount to the 14.70% that the ICT sector grew in the 4th quarter. Similarly, for the entire year, the year 2020, the ICT sector also recorded the fastest growing rate of 12.90, far greater than even the second one, which had something that was less than 4 times what, the ICT sector was 4 times what the other sector had. And that's for the ICT sector. The telecom subsectors are under the ICT sector. And in the last year, we had a 15.90% growth rate, which was the highest in 10 years. What I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of development in that digital economy sector, and partnering with us will be a win-win situation for you as well. As part of the implementation of pillar number 3, that's solid infrastructure pillar, we developed a Nigerian National Broadband Plan. The idea of the plan is to ensure that we have broadband penetration across the entire country, to be able to cover 90% of the population and 70% of the surface area of the country. And right now, when the plan was developed, or when the process of the development of the plan commenced, the broadband penetration was just a little over 33%. But as we speak now, as at November 2020, the broadband penetration had increased to 45.07%. And we have different areas that we're open to partnership with investors, open to partnership with people on this forum. And the Honorable Minister just wants me to convey this news to you that Nigeria is open for business, and they will be glad to have a feedback from you concerning what you discussed at the event, and to also see how we can partner with you. We've already taken a lot of time, so I won't take too much of your time after this. So I'll be happy to take questions. I'll be happy to share contacts with you and share the documents. But this, in a nutshell, is what the minister said I should pass across. And he asked that I should apologize on his behalf for not being here in person, because he's attending a meeting with the president and couldn't leave. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Olufemi, for a very informative talk. Please thank the Honorable Minister from our side. We would just like to share with you that, as I mentioned in the beginning, Indian software industry is very US-centric. And what we really need to do is, the Indian, as I mentioned to you, software industry is very US-centric. About 70% of our business happens in North America, about 17% in the UK. And despite the desire to do more in Africa, you need the products and solutions. Indian companies have them. So we need to create some more success stories, and that is where we need help with the respective governments on both sides. We can help the two sides to actually find right partners, and that matchmaking will go a long way in helping the African countries to get solutions and the Indian companies to find the right partners in Africa to implement those solutions. So we are all on the same page, but I think it's now a question of implementing the strategy, and I would request the Honorable Minister to use his offices to promote that. So that we are running late now, that brings us to the last speaker of today's evening. In India, it's evening. I would request Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, my colleague on the ESC board, and he is one of the very few successful IT companies in India who are doing business in Africa. And we all turn to him whenever we need some advice on Africa. And so I would say that he can actually is in a good position to advise both the sides, having work experience in Africa for a long time, and also understanding the way Indian companies are organized. So may I now request Mr. Sanjay Agarwal to share his views with the gathering here today.
Thank you, Mr. Kohli. Thank you very much for your kind remarks. Dr. Kumar, Dr. Reddy, Dr. VSDL Surendra, Mr. Olufemi, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, my sincere thanks to ESC for organizing this event and giving an opportunity to be a part of this illustrious panel. The comments and observations made by the speakers have been very incisive and extremely informative, and I'm sure they will be of great value to all participants. My thanks to them, and I really look forward to carrying this forward in various other fora. As Mr. Kohli kindly mentioned, I've been deeply involved with the ICT-related developments in various countries of Africa for the past over 20 years. I have observed, to my great delight, the leaps that so many countries in Africa have made in utilization of ICT as an engine of growth. In fact, many have learned very quickly from others, improvised the applications and their utilization as well as the technology to suit their own needs and budgets, and have rolled out those things, those projects at incredible speeds. Rollouts of large projects in the government, projects funded by various international agencies, as well as those in the private sector, have seen a scale and speed that has been truly impressive. And definitely 20 years ago, when I started traveling and doing business in Africa, it was completely unimaginable. So I have the deepest regard for the various participants in these projects and how they have been able to bring the benefits of technology to the people of their various countries. Many countries, in fact, have leapfrogged the smaller learning cycles and have taken big strides to reap advantages of the right priced and rightly placed solutions for various parts of development that have been covered already. The other great positive that I have personally observed is the immense development of IT-related skill sets in many countries. Universities are churning out highly skilled, technology-trained individuals in significant numbers. And they are also gaining from the availability of online content. And this has really accelerated in the past year because of the impact of the pandemic, where travel was limited, distractions were virtually none, and the number of people that I personally know who have enrolled in various online courses to their advantage is immense. But even more than that, the interesting thing is that these youngsters are just not copying what has been done in the West or in India or in China or anywhere else. They are applying the technology to create solutions that are truly original, suited to the needs of their own specific environments. So it is not merely a copy paste that is happening. They have sought inspiration from what has been done. They have learned from what others have done, and they have translated those ideas and made it their own. This burgeoning of talent bodes well for the IT sector, as well as those for whom these benefits are intended. And such talent, whether in the government or other sectors, is going to become increasingly and more deeply available, bringing benefits to every part of the populace as well as that of the economy. Yes, it is correct that some mega projects still have foreign participation, but every year I see that the involvement and the responsibilities of domestic talent is increasing and will continue to do so. Therefore, a true transformation in talent as well as its utilization is happening. Thus, it is bringing forth improved impact of IT in sectors which are widespread, which have large involvement of people such as education, health, financial services, and so on. I'm sure the experience of Indian firms is also helping, and therefore it is a win-win opportunity for both the various countries that need these resources as well as for the Indian participant. I've also noticed the constant increase in the government-led projects for delivering better services. The utilization of IT is increasing. Investments in infrastructure is increasing to create robust technology platforms. Sheila ji has so nicely covered. All those things are already being done and are producing the intended results. What is now needed is adoption of tomorrow's technologies, which have been enumerated, such as blockchain or IoT and BI and artificial intelligence and so on, so that the African countries can truly become very competitive and are able to deliver enhanced services to their citizens. I see in this conference there are many participants from India, and I would like to highlight what has already been mentioned, that when you are looking at Africa as a market, please remember that these are 54 countries, each with its own characteristic, each with its own opportunity, business environment, and culture. This is the vastness of the landscape that is available. and a market of over 1.2 billion people strong. Thus, if any organization, especially the SMEs, are intending to grow, the 54 countries of Africa offer an immense potential and opportunity. And it is up to us, the SMEs, to grab that opportunity and carve out a new future for ourselves. With this, I would like to bring my address to an end. I know we are short of time, so my many, many thanks to all those who have listened. Thank you for your kindness and attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Agarwal. Thank you for sharing your experience in Africa. And I'm sure many more companies in India would feel inspired and look at Africa more seriously than what they've been doing in the past. And we have very good relationship with African countries, very friendly relationship. And I think it is only natural that the IT expertise we have developed for our own use and also for use of developed countries like US and Europe should be shared with Africa. I think we will all of us collectively will make it happen. And thank you very much for sharing your views with us. We are already rather late and we will bring this to a close now. And before I do that, I will request our Executive Director, Mr. Gurmeet Singh, to propose a formal vote of thanks to all the speakers who are here today, sharing their views. Mr. Gurmeet Singh, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Chief Guest, learned members of the panel and friends. It's my proud privilege to propose a hearty vote of thanks to Dr. Alufami for sharing the message of our Chief Guest of today's session, Dr. Issa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Government of Nigeria. Sir, your words have come as a source of great inspiration to all of us. Kindly convey our heartfelt thanks to the Honorable Minister for sharing valuable thoughts. We know he was only a scheduled meeting today, but in spite of that, he tried his level best to join us, and your presence today is a testimony to your commitment to make Nigeria and perhaps whole of Africa towards a digitally enabled society. Our special thanks to Dr. Rajendra Kumar, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and IT. Sir, your words were very highly informative and gave a very clear picture of the shape that technology will take in the years to come. I'm sure delegates would have benefited a lot from your words, and we sincerely appreciate your sparing time for today's session and joining the IT fraternity, particularly the MSME community of both the sides. Our sincere thanks are due to Mr. VSDL Surendra, our Deputy High Commissioner and Head of Chancery in the High Commission of India. Sir, thank you so much for accommodating our request and join us for this important session and sharing your insight to increase our cooperation with Africa region in IT, particularly for SMEs of both the countries. Your insightful words were highly informative, and we all feel better informed after listening to you. My sincere thanks to our Joint Secretary in the Department of Commerce, Dr. Shrikar Reddy. Sir, you very well highlighted the importance of economic relations between India and Africa. Ideas shared by you will do immense good both to Indian entrepreneurs as well as our friends from Africa. Let me also like to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Inobong Umasen, Head of Business and Enterprise Promotion, Private Sector Directorate, ECOWAS Commission, Nigeria. Dr. Inobong is an old friend of the Council and, of course, an MOU partner, and we are doing similar initiatives jointly with the support of Dr. Inobong, and we continue to do that. Sir, you were very beautifully provided the African perspective that we all were eager to hear about. Thank you so much, and we look forward to many more sessions on these lines. A special word of thanks to our friend, Ms. Sheila Sudhakaran. Thank you, Sheila ji, for insightful presentation and valuable inputs provided by you. Of course, our sincere thanks to always support ESC's initiative to connect our MSMEs members with African agencies and MSME companies, and we look forward to more of such initiatives in the times to come. My sincere thanks to Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, Chairman Africa Committee ESC and Executive Committee member and Managing Director and CEO, Eastern Software Services. Thank you, sir, very much for sharing your experience with us. Journey of your company sets an ideal example of successful Indian IT ventures serving global markets. I must thank you, our Chairman, Mr. Nalin Kohli, past Chairman of ESC and Chairman of IndiaSoft Organizing Committee, for his leadership for the last 20 years, that we are able to bring a small event with just 50 participants to a larger event covering more than 200 IT SMEs of India and more than 1,000 global companies from 73 plus countries joining us for this event. And sir, thank you so much for your leadership and vision that made it possible for us to put together today's session. My sincere thanks are due to our distinguished delegates from across the globe, particularly Patricio from Chile, who is very supportive to Council's initiative, and our exhibitors and all the guests who have joined today's session. My special thanks to delegates from different countries who joined us today, and I warmly invite you for our tomorrow's session on North America IT opportunities in USA and Canada, and the details of which have already been shared with you. And we look forward to similar cooperation and support from you. And I'm sure these initiatives will bring further our IT trade and cooperation with different parts of the world. And we look forward to your support on that. Thank you so much for all your help.